Let's get ready for Monday Mortgage Minute with your hosts, Tom McNamara and Bruce Woodburn.
There we go. Monday, August the 3rd. Okay. We got a lot of people very interested in this whole tax relief. What I found to be very strange is that it tends to be older people, mainly older males, that seem to be grabbing onto this, which I think is the opposite of what should happen. We have an affordability issue in houses. It's not interest rates. It's not insurance. Insurance has come down like 10 to 12%. It's property taxes. And yet there's no young people that seem to be grabbing onto this and finding that, hey, this could really help me become a homeowner, and it's not going to get better. Where are we right now? What can we do?
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree definitely that not enough young people are interested in the topic. And unfortunately, a lot of the ones that are interested in the topic are of the mindset that the government needs the money and that we shouldn't take it from them, right? They want more social programs. They want more government, and those kind of things. So what we need to do is make sure people understand that, there's a lot of things that affect affordability, right? And we talked about this over. Yeah. Taxes, so you got price,
HOA.
Yeah. Besides price, right? Price is a big one, but prices, I don't see prices coming down, here and there they are, but generally speaking, they're where they are. So we just need wages to catch up a little bit. That'd be great. Right. But interest rates they are what they are. They're historically normal. They feel high because we got used to 3% for a while, but I don't see that coming back. So, maybe we get down to 6 flat, maybe we get down to 5.5 in the next 2 or 3 years, who knows, but maybe not. You got HOAs, they're not going anywhere.
Nope.
If anything, HOAs are going to continue to rise up in price because they
if
pay
insurance goes up, HOAs go up too.
Correct. Yeah, they pay for a lot of the infrastructure that that's in the community that the HOA is in, right? So that's not going anywhere.
Nope.
And then you have insurance and taxes. Insurance is coming down a little bit. It'd be great if it could come down a lot more, but property taxes are an absolute killer. On an average house, which, median now is like 420, right?
Yep.
On that house, and a new homeowner buying that house today is going to pay $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, depending on what county they're in, right?
Ridiculous.
Maybe even more if they're in a city. What a lot of people don't realize is that when you buy in a city, you pay the county tax and the city tax. You don't get away with one or the other, right?
That's right.
So, there's taxing districts where you pay different amounts and things, but you're funding a lot of stuff with that. Whereas, I've been in my house, Bruce, for coming up on 20 years, and I pay a whole lot less.
Well, of course you do, and here's the point. You and I are older men. We've been in our homes for a long time. They've been homesteaded. Our taxes are going up only by a maximum of 3% per year. And generally they don't even go up that much, right? Although my taxes are still quite a bit. I think on my house, I'm about 10,000. I think a 429 house is more like about $430 a month. But then you add $200 a month into insurance in that. Now you're at $629. Now you add maybe $100 a month for an HOA. And now you're at $720. You're at $729 and you hadn't even made a mortgage payment yet.
That's right. So
that's just all the other stuff.
Yeah. So, I think the younger crowd needs to really get more involved in this. And unfortunately, a lot of them are renters right now. So they're of the mindset, well, it's not going to help me. It's not, they didn't do anything for renters. Like, well, do you plan on being a renter your whole life? Because,
if you go back to the 90s, the average rental was $429. Now it's $1,750. So it used to be where people got into a rental to save money to buy. They didn't get into a rental. That's like saying I'm going to make a career out of being a bag boy at Publix. No, it's a step up. You're doing it to get something else, right? It's not a career move. So I think that a lot of these young people are forgetting how important it is. And listen, when you want the government to take over and just they'll fix it, it never happens. What has the government ever done that has had some type of a system that really works well? Military. It's the only thing I can really think of. And I don't
And I
even
can
know
tell
what
you
the
right
budget
now,
is.
the military is being former military. The military is only really good at it because they throw gobs of money at every single problem. They're not efficient. They're just really
I don't,
good.
and my point, and that's my point. I don't think anything is efficient. They
No.
can't even keep the post office running most of the time. You're going to want them to take over healthcare and taxes. Anybody that thinks that, oh yeah, I should let the government take over this, it's going to be better. All these new socialists and communists that they are calling them coming into town, they're getting strength because young people are so tired of the norm. But the problem is you can't throw the freaking baby out with the bathwater. And what's happening is people are trying to change the whole system. Something's broke, so we change everything. No, change the things that are broken. Find the things that are broken, but you don't have to change your whole trajectory. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. And, and I read a lot of the comments. I get thousands of comments. I've got a collector that pulls the comments together for me because I get so many of them. Right. And when I look at them, I see a lot of the young people say things like, hey, the government needs the money. They're doing good things with it, this and that. And I don't necessarily disagree 100% that the government, because they do need money, right? I mean, I want to
money. We got to fix roads, got to pay.
I want to know that my fire department's going to show up. I want to know that the cop's going to show up. I want to be able to go to the library, even though I really don't. I want to be able to go to the park and those. And I know. But, those are things that a community generally needs, right? My thing is, why should that be paid for by holding me hostage and everybody else hostage annually for a ransom, right?
I agree.
Why not do it a different way? Why not fund government a different way? So I think where Tallahassee really missed the mark on this whole proposal is they didn't give cities and counties enough tools to replace the revenue. So the counties are immediately going to, hey, we're gonna have to cut the fire department out. We're gonna get rid of half of our fire trucks. It's all BS. They're not gonna do that. But that's what they're saying, right?
Yeah, they're grandstanding right now based on that. But I don't think that's gonna have to happen. But I do think, like, when you do research on this, all the research comes out that what can they cut instead of where can we make up the difference? The problem is that the cities can't just arbitrarily raise things like property taxes and sales taxes. But if the state came in and said, hey, look at this county needs this much to make it up, so we're going to raise the taxes by 0.5% over here and 1.5% over in Levy County where they have nothing else to be able to build. So you could do that, but the state has not given them anything to hang their hat on. So therefore people are like, I ain't going to vote for this stuff because there's no resolution to it.
That's right. And I'm learning this as I go, right? But I don't know if you know this, but most or every county's budget is the property taxes are a portion of it, right? Yes. Sometimes it's in the case of Orange County, it's about 8% of the total budget is property taxes. Property taxes.
But how much of that is the homesteaded property taxes?
Even less, right? It's a very small number. But the problem is that let's say it's about $8 billion. Out of that $8 billion, $7 billion of it comes from other sources, but is also earmarked specifically for other things. Right. So the general fund, which is where property taxes go, fund your police, your fire, your parks, your libraries, your homeless programs, all those kind of things. And they're very specific about what they're allowed to do within there. And it's a smaller amount of money.
Yes.
It's about $1 billion in Orange County, of which about 400 million comes from Homestead, of which when this program is fully implemented, they're going to lose about 160 million. Right. So out of 8 billion, that sounds like a really small amount, but out of $1 billion, it sounds like a lot bigger amount. And out of only 400 million, it sounds like almost half. So
part of this, originally part of this was one of them was to raise the taxes, sales taxes. Okay.
Correct. There
To
was
make
a
up the
discussion
difference.
about that. Mhm.
But the county can't do that. The state has to do that,
A
right?
lot of people think the counties can because they have that local option sales tax thing, but those are very specific. They can only be used for very specific things, and they also expire.
Temporary,
Now,
correct.
they're temporary. Now, of course, a lot of people, oh, I've been in Seminole County for 25 years and it's always been 7%. Well, yeah, because we keep voting for it. We keep renewing it, but we don't have to. And in Seminole County, I believe the
But
full
now
1%.
people don't even know what they raised it for.
Well, that's yeah. I believe it goes for schools. So now what they do is here. This is the fun thing, right? So when they originally put it in, they're like, "Hey, we need better schools. We're going to charge 1% extra for 3 years." Okay, everybody votes for it. And then at the end of that 3 years, I go, "Hey, if you don't want to cut the schools or make them crap again, So so now you're voting just
This
to
is the
not go
government
back.
running though. And I think that we need to have more audits just to find out where the fat is. Maybe there's some things that we can peel off here, because I think getting rid of the homestead tax is a really brilliant thing to do. I
It
don't
is.
see why we have to be held hostage to the government for us to be able to own a home.
That's right.
You take somebody that bought a home for $500,000, a young couple, and they saved up hard. Maybe they got a gift from mom and dad or the grandparents to help them with their down payment a little bit.
Yep.
And now they close on it and the taxes were $250 a month. But that's because the previous owner owned it for 25 years. Now their new taxes are assessed and they're $600 a month.
Mhm.
And then as time goes on, that insurance goes up, and then the HOA raises the HOA amount. Now they look at that and go, I can't even afford to live here anymore.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
got to get the taxes under control. Now, insurance is something you and I beat on. And I'm going to tell you something. I am applauding the insurance commissioner and DeSantis for getting insurance down. It's working. Not as low as I'd like to see it, but it's down about 10 to 12% right now.
It is. It is. It's down for sure. I mean, I've saved a ton of money on mine, and I've helped a bunch of people save money on theirs. As a matter of fact, this week on Sunday, I'm interviewing a insurance broker, and we're going to go through a lot of the things that are happening. She's going to get me kind of up to date on what she's seeing in the market, because it really mostly started taking effect in June and July. So we're just a month into it, for real, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. So, to me, I think, the American dream is still alive, right? It is a little bit harder. I'm not going to try to tell a young person that it's easy, because it's not. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. But, we just need to help them save money on taxes and insurance, because the rest of the stuff we can't control.
You say it's not easy to own a home. I agree with that. But it doesn't seem like it was easy when I bought my first home either. I know we say that, and I know we can look at things and go, well, the cost of living's higher and the income is not caught up to it. And I agree with that. I agree with that. But you and I help young people every day. And I can see the people that we help are the ones that are more diligent about their credit. They're more diligent about saving a little bit of money. They're not the ones that have a $600 a month car payment on a Camry. They're more physically responsible. And I'm telling you, I see it. I got people go, well, I can't buy, but I look at it and I go, well, you got a boat payment and a Harley payment. Okay.
Right.
And yet you're renting. Okay. Where are your priorities?
Yeah, right? I mean, for sure. There's plenty of people that are in those in that bucket, right? But I mean, it is mathematically it is a little harder. I mean, on average.
So here's the thing. We got about a minute left, and I want you to just answer a few questions for me then, okay? Because you are very informed. First of all, what website did they go to find you?
Well, on YouTube, they go to at Florida Real Estate Insider on YouTube.
Okay. So, Tom, why should a 28-year-old renter care about this vote?
Because they should not be a renter for the rest of their lives. That's 100% the reason why. And this might be the only opportunity we get to reduce property taxes.
How much of today's affordability problem is driven by taxes? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of it is taxes?
Probably about 5 or 6.
I think so. Does
Yeah.
lowering property taxes encourage more first-time home buyers?
It should. Anybody that can do math.
I think that it should, but I don't think it's the first thing that's on their mind. I think they
I don't
would
think
see
so either.
interest rates over that. What happens if nothing changes over the next 10 years?
We're going to have less young people buying homes, and more burden is going to be put on the people that do own the homes to carry the freight for everybody.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
How would this affect someone buying their first home compared with someone who's owned for 25 years?
I mean, that if they've owned in Florida, they're going to get get portability, right? So they're going to be able to take their savings with them. If they're moving into Florida, they're basically look the same as a first-time home buyer as far
But a
as
first-time home buyer buying a home by January, that tax is going to go up to a fully assessed rate, right? So they're going to get a bump from the person that's been in the house for 25 years is paying far less taxes. It affects that new home buyer dramatically. So if we cut back on the homestead exemption, they would have a better chance on getting into that house.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's going to benefit them if they go to buy at any time, whether it's this year, next year, doesn't matter. Anybody that goes to buy this amendment will help them dramatically, right?
I agree.
It's just, yeah.
So just a couple of things. A mortgage payment eventually is going to end, but property taxes will never end. So you're going to be tied to the government for the rest of your life. People budget for mortgages, they misestimate their taxes. Americans, the American dream isn't slipping away because people don't want to own homes. It's slipping away because ownership is becoming harder and harder for them to get.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it definitely, insurance and taxes are above and beyond where they should be, at least mathematically. So we do need to find ways to lower them.
All right, last question. If you had to vote today, would it be yes or no for it?
I'm voting yes.
I'm voting yes too.
And I've thought long and hard about it. I've done a case for both sides.
Me too. And if I thought they were going to have to lay police or fire departments off, I wouldn't vote for it. Nope. I don't think they're going to have to do it. Vote yes. Tom McNamara, thank you very much. Great. See ya.
Make a good one, bud.